Ciao, I'm Mario, a Swiss car guy on YouTube, and today is going to be another lift episode. Because you see, a while ago when I bought this house, I also bought the lift, it was already here, and I thought I'd service it because I didn't know if it ever had been serviced, so I did an oil and filter change on the lift, and then I started using it a bit. And this lift has issues. I could never raise it all the way. It should raise to 1.90 meters, so slightly above me. Instead, I could only lift it like this high, and then I had to crouch underneath it, because if I lifted it higher, then hydraulic fluid would start squirting out of here. I thought it was like, you know, a pressure relief or something like that. But last week, when I had my Porsche on the lift, it started squirting at this height already. So this tells me that the seals inside this hydraulic cylinder here have failed, which means replacing the hydraulic cylinder or maybe reseal it. Because you see, this is a TwinBusch lift. It's a cheap DIY enthusiast brand. And this, I think, is the TW242A, which is the very, very entry-level model that they have. I don't think they even sell it anymore. It's so basic. So, I mean, this is, when it was new, it was probably 2,000 euros. So what do you do? Well, the good thing is that while TwinBusch is like a cheapo manufacturer, they still sell all the spare parts for these lifts, even at 20 years old. So I had the option to buy a new cylinder for, I think, 330 euros plus shipping, which honestly is not that bad, or to buy a reseal kit for 50 euros. So I bought a reseal kit because I'm going to try to take the cylinder out, the piston, and then change the seals, close it all up, and then hopefully it doesn't leak anymore, it holds pressure, and I can also lift the lift high to its maximum height and not just as high as before it starts squirting. In fact, it's already kind of wet down here because it squirted out and it sucks. This is the worst offender. I think the other side is bad as well, but not as bad as this, because this one squirted way earlier. So I will start with this, which means taking this apart, taking it out first, which isn't that easy, and then taking it apart. We'll see how that turns out, so let's go. There you have it. So in order to remove the cylinder, we need to raise the lift to the first safety lock position. Here. Then we lower it. I release as much pressure as I can. This is very exciting, but I want all the hydraulic fluid to run back out of the cylinders into the reservoir. So that the pressure inside the cylinder is relieved, because the lift now sits on the safety stance and it's not held up by the pistons. I think this should be enough. Now I have to see if I can push the cylinder down. This is all the way down. Okay, so now, okay, maybe not. I have to undo this guard here to take the chain off. Good, this can come out. Then in theory you can take off the chain now. Let's turn this back out. Ugh, I'll use this one to actually hold it in place afterward. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. So we have the chain off. This moves freely. We could remove the pulley here. There's a circlip here you need to remove, and then it kind of slides out, but I don't need to. I can take the pulley out with the whole rest. It's too much work. However, now we need to undo the hydraulic line at the bottom here. Okay, now in this oily mess, we need to take off this hydraulic line here, which I think is a 19 millimeters. I'm going to put some paper underneath, even though this here is all full of oil that escaped from the top, but you know, it might be a good idea. Okay, I think this is enough. Let's go back to trying to crack this open.
Okay, that was not very tight. Okay, this is off. Nothing is exiting, which is actually really good. Maybe I should take off this cover here. It's a bit in the way. But now the hydraulic line is off. I've cleaned it. I've removed the chain, so this should now lift out, basically. I should now be able to lift this heavy cylinder out. Maybe I'll move the chain a bit to the side. See, does it come out? Oh God. This is really heavy. Okay, it would come out. Okay, this cylinder is probably too heavy for a weakling like me to lift out, so I have to think of something. I think this is where my crane comes in. Okay, let's get rid of this. Let's see. I think I could do a ratchet strap around the pulley. Lovely. I have to make sure it doesn't get caught on anything. Oh, God. Ugh. Hydraulic pressure everywhere. Maybe if I lift it from the bottom. No, it just pulls it apart. I would have to close it up, because if it was closed from the bottom, then it wouldn't extend, right? But what is that fitting? Do I have anything that fits on that thread? All right, so I had to drive to the store to get a plug to close the hydraulic cylinder at the bottom so that I can pull from the top, from the ram. Let's see if it comes up. Make sure I don't snag anything. This is as high as it will go. Let's see. Can I lift it from here? Yes, I can. Holy moly. Whew. Heavy thing. Here you can see my little cover that I had to buy. Actually, I'll just move it over. I must say I have underestimated how heavy this thing is. But now I have this key here, and with this I open the cylinder. Oh, and this opens very easily because I already used a large bar to do it. But now that I open it, I can undo it, and then a lot of oil will come out, most likely. Oh. It's a good thing I have a little oil pan underneath here, and I should have paper. Of course, it doesn't help that it's inclined that way, but at least this way oil can drip out and not onto the floor. I think I should open this up now. Maybe I can lower it a bit. Whoops. Man, there's a lot of crud on there. But I think these are the seals, the offending seals. Oh, look, this is completely split. No wonder. This is completely split. There's nothing. The blue one looks okay, but this one, not so much. Okay. I've lined this palette with some plastic in order to clean it easier later on, so I can just put this onto here. I wonder, is there a seal up here I should clean as well? All right, the piston is out, and as you can see, there's quite a lot of crud. This, which I reckon is sort of mayonnaise. Water must have gotten in or something. It's nasty, so I clean everything off here because I don't like that. But the piston itself is smooth. That's important. It's not scratched or broken or anything. But all this nasty stuff needs to come out because, ugh. As we can see, one seal here is completely broken. This is probably the main culprit. The blue one usually is the real seal, the last line of defense. So this one needs to be replaced anyway. I'll also replace this. This is the kit from the manufacturer. It contains a lot more than these two rings, because it also contains... Should I dismantle the whole thing? Because there's a lot of seals here. And I'm not exactly sure where they all belong. Is it this one? Okay, this is obviously this seal. And this one is obviously the one that's cracked. Oh, this is also cracked. Ah, they are like this from the factory apparently. Or I received a broken one. This one stretches, this one doesn't. This is confusing. So these are supposed to be like this. Let's see if I can undo this. That was easy. Okay. Let's see if I can get this stuff off. Oh yeah, there's O-rings everywhere. This weird sleeve. And let's get this out as well, because there's an O-ring up there anyway. So I think it's a good thing I'm disassembling the whole thing, because yeah, this is not good. It's all full of this brown stuff. Oh, and a bit of rust actually. It's a bit rusty at the top, that's not good. There is some rust here on the inside. That's concerning. Oh yeah, there's a blue seal and there is one other, a small of these split seals inside here. So this I'm going to replace too, because it's been pushing out dirt and grease from here. So let's try to make... But there's a lot of rust on the inside of this, which is not good. Is it rust or is it just crud? Okay. So let's start to replacing the gaskets. And I'll start with one back here, because that's the most likely I will forget. So let me get something to lever it out. Okay, so a little screwdriver. Oh, first, let's make sure I have one of these. Yeah, I would say I have it, so let's get rid of it. Maybe I need to do, because I don't want to scratch the whole piston, so let's cut it. Good. This is off. Let's put the new one directly on, if I can. Probably needs a bit of oil. I'll oil it up and try to put it on. Great. Then I want to do this one, because there's the blue seal up here and another inside, and look how bad this is. Maybe I can polish this a bit, because this looks quite bad. The inside, there's a lot of corrosion or crud or what it is. But anyway, there's two seals, a blue and a not blue one. So the little blue one must be this one, because it fits. You see the difference in color. And then there is one of these split kind of types. This one, which goes inside. Yeah, let's try to get them out. Let's do the top one first. So the top one is with the lip towards the outside. And the bottom one should just, it's split, so it should just come apart. Let's clean this in a little bit. Yeah, but if you notice, this hole here, this is the little air filter thing. This is where the oil came out before, through the bore here, which means these seals here are not really the problem. The problem was further down here, which is why the oil shot past the piston. So let's put in the small one first. Oh my God, this is going to be difficult. The lower seal went in fine. Let's do the top one again. The lip needs to go up. I will again put some oil onto it, because that will most likely help a bit with going in place. Because this needs to go up here. In here, like this, like whoop. Okay, this is in. So this can go back up, so that we don't forget. Maybe it can't. It's kind of a tight fit, right? No, this goes in nicely. Perfect. Out of the way. Now I just have to reseal this, which means, again, a split, like this goes in out really easy, and on top you have the blue one. The blue one, and this time the split part is on top and the flat part is at the bottom. Cutting it seems to be the right way, so I can just get it out like this. Actually, I need to put this nasty thing back in. I'm not sure why it is even here, but it was, so. Right, so I already put the cylinder back in. I forgot to film it because it was too much work. And now I can actually get this out of the way. I don't need the crane anymore. Let's get rid of this. Now the chain needs to get back over the pulley here, which means pulling it up. Okay, the chain is in place, I would say. Don't need the tire iron anymore. Okay. And now we can put the chain guard back in. The job is basically done. Now I have to raise the lift and see if it goes up and if it doesn't squirt. I reconnected hydraulic line at the bottom, so everything should be fine. Just need to check whether we have hydraulic fluid leaking. I think not. Okay, I think nothing squirted out on this side, which is great, but it squirted out on the other side, so I have to do the second cylinder as well. So yeah, boy oh boy, it's finally done. I resealed both cylinders on both sides because that one was leaking like at this height and the other one was leaking at about this height. So I did both. What I didn't realize is that that one was a lot more difficult because it has two connections, two hydraulic lines, one from the pump and one to the other cylinder, because it's just the pump feeds into the first cylinder and the first cylinder feeds into the second cylinder. So the thing is, the way I did it with the crane, where I lifted the cylinder out, I needed to make sure that it was sealed. So I had to close the bottom again in order for the piston to remain down. Otherwise the piston would extend and I couldn't lift it out because the crane only goes up to here and the extended cylinder is like this high. So I had to go to the stores, I think 2 times or maybe 3 times, to buy something to plug the cylinders at the bottom. They have a 3/8 thread and the hydraulic connections are 1/4 of an inch, which yeah, in Switzerland it's not very common, so I ended up getting an adapter from 1/4 to 3/8 and then a 3/8 cap, and then I put it on, and then that one went quite easy. This one was very difficult because the hydraulic line at the back, I had to plug that as well. But the point is, there is a hole where the line comes out, and as soon as you plug something in, the cylinder gets jammed and you cannot get it out. So I first had to use a tire iron, lever it out a bit and then turn it, and then when it was turned, then inside here I could plug the hole enough that it holds pressure, and then I lifted this one up as well, and this one actually was better inside. This one had more rust and crud, while this one basically had none. But anyway, they both work now. This is the lift as high as it will go, and as you see, it's not exactly ideal for me, but still under a car I can work it. I adjusted the end stop to go as high as the lift will go, and I think it's this. Or is it? Yeah, this is as high as the lift will go, and the safety rest will be... Oh no, wait, I think I disabled it. So this will be the highest position that this lift goes up, which is not ideal, and I still don't understand it because I think there should be another rest higher up, but I cannot get up to there. So since I bought the reseal kit for the 2 pistons, I also got some other goodies like new rubber pads because these are already chewed up, so I will change these later on. And then at least the lift works, it doesn't squirt liquid anymore. And I can now go back to working on cars, which I need to do because my Porsche is due for an inspection next week, so I need to do a little bit of cleanup. And the Lexus has a Torrent CV boot, so I need to change the axle boot, or maybe even 2, so work. And of course, and there's a hybrid battery thing. But this is what I did for today. For the first time in my life, I resealed a hydraulic cylinder, and it was surprisingly easy, except for the fact that they are really heavy and large. And this is normally a 2-man job. And even with 2 men, I think it's almost
impossible to do it because it's so difficult. You don't have access to the cylinder, to the lower part. So even if you have somebody pushing and somebody pulling, I think my system with plugging it, making it airtight, and then pulling on the shaft and then pulling everything out is of course possible if you have a crane in your workshop, which, man, this thing is so useful. Otherwise, I would have had to have help or friends, which I don't have. So this worked out, and with a ratchet strap and everything. And I have to say that even though this is a cheap lift, it's a TwinBusch, it's the base model, you can buy almost all the spare parts. I mean, I think you cannot buy new arms. You cannot buy the columns here, but I think if you need those, then you need a new lift. So basically, yes, the lift so far should work again, and I've rambled on way too long. Follow me on Instagram at SwissCarGuyMario for images, videos, more frequent updates, whatever, and subscribe to the channel for more content in the future, certainly not in the past, and comment down below what do you think of my professional hydraulics repair here, and have you ever done something like that? Should I have just bought new cylinders? It would have been like 700 euros for the 2 cylinders, for 2 new cylinders. But I think the whole difference is that I wouldn't have to do the reseal work. The reseal work was kind of easy. It was the getting it out and putting it back in, which was really, really hard, which is why I also didn't film any of it. I mean, I filmed the getting out, but the getting back in turned out to be even more difficult. Well, not on this one, because on this one I had already learned it, I knew how to do it. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day. Bye.